Google just made one of its biggest infrastructure moves yet. In a deal worth about $4.75 billion in cash, the tech giant has agreed to buy Intersect, a data center and energy developer based in San Francisco. And while it may not sound flashy like a new phone or chatbot, this move says a lot about where the future of artificial intelligence is headed. Because in the AI era, power isn't just about smarter software. It's about electricity, land, and massive buildings full of computers. Intersect is a company that builds and operates data centers and energy projects. These are the giant facilities that house thousands of servers, the machines that store data and run the models behind search engines, cloud services, and now AI systems. Google had already been working closely with Intersect and even invested in the company last year. Now it's taking full control. In a statement, Google CEO Sundar Pichai said Intersect will help the company expand capacity, move faster in building new power generation alongside data centers, and rethink energy solutions to keep U.S. innovation and leadership strong. In simple terms, Google wants more computing power, and it wants to control where that power comes from. This deal comes at a time when Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and OpenAI are all spending tens of billions of dollars to build data centers around the world. Why? Because modern AI models need enormous amounts of computing power. Training them can take weeks or months and consume as much electricity as small towns. And once they're deployed, serving millions of users every day also requires non-stop energy. The more advanced the AI, the bigger the demand. That's why data centers have become the new battleground in tech. For years, companies rented space from specialized data center operators. But now, the biggest players want tighter control. They want to own more of the stack, from the chips inside servers to the buildings that hold them, and even the power plants that feed them. Google's purchase of Intersect is rare because outright acquisitions of data center and energy companies by big tech haven't been common. One reason is regulation. Google has faced heavy scrutiny in recent years over whether it holds too much power in areas like internet search and digital advertising. That has made large mergers more complicated. But even after being found to have violated antitrust laws in some cases, the penalties have been relatively light. And now, Google appears more willing to make bold infrastructure bet. With this deal, Google says it will acquire some of Intersect's employees, several data center projects, and multiple gigawatts of energy capacity. That energy piece is critical. Power is quickly becoming the main bottleneck for AI growth. It's not just about money. In many regions, there simply isn't enough available electricity to support new data centers. By owning energy assets directly, Google can better line up new power generation with new computing demand. That could mean renewable sources, new grid connections, or innovative ways to manage load more efficiently. At the same time, Intersect will spin off some of its data centers in Texas and California into a separate company to serve other customers. So Google isn't taking everything, just the parts most aligned with its own expansion. One place this matters a lot is Haskell, Texas. Google has already announced plans to invest about $40 billion there through 2027 to build out AI infrastructure. The Intersect deal is expected to speed up that build-out, helping Google bring new data centers and power online faster. If that number sounds huge, that's because it is. And Google isn't alone. Microsoft is pouring money into data centers to support its partnership with OpenAI. Amazon is expanding AWS facilities across multiple continents. Meta is building massive campuses to power its AI research and social platforms. Even OpenAI itself has talked about needing trillions of dollars in infrastructure over time. This has created what many are calling a global AI infrastructure race. What makes this moment different is that companies aren't just building more data centers. They're changing how they finance them. In many cases, big tech firms are setting up arrangements where smaller partners take on debt to fund construction, keeping those investments off their own balance sheet. It spreads risk and speeds things up. But Google choosing to buy Intersect outright suggests it sees strategic value in owning both the data and energy side directly. There's also a national angle. As AI becomes more central to economic and military power, countries want to ensure that critical infrastructure stays within their borders and under friendly control. Pichai's mention of U.S. leadership reflects that broader concern. Data centers aren't just business assets anymore. They're part of digital sovereignty. Of course, there are challenges. Data centers consume enormous amounts of electricity and water, and local communities often worry about environmental impact, strain on grids, and land use. Tech companies now face pressure to prove that their expansion won't come at the cost of sustainability. Google has long promoted its use of renewable energy and carbon-free goals. Owning more of the energy supply could help it move closer to those promises, or at least give it more control over how power is sourced. Still, building at this scale is never simple. So what does this deal really tell us? First, it shows that AI isn't just about algorithms anymore. It's about physical infrastructure. Whoever controls the most reliable, scalable computing power will have a major advantage. Second, it signals that Google is all in. After facing tough competition in AI over the past couple of years, especially from rivals pushing ahead with chatbots and foundation models, Google is reinforcing the foundation beneath its AI ambitions. You can't win the AI race if you can't turn the lights on. Third, it hints at where tech competition is going next. The next breakthroughs may still come from smarter models, but the winners will also be those who can deploy them at global scale, affordably and sustainably. That means land, steel, fiber, and megawatts matter just as much as code. In a way, the future of AI looks less like a science lab and more like an industrial revolution, with giant plants, massive investment, and long-term bet. For everyday users, this might seem far removed, but it affects how fast new AI features roll out, how reliable cloud services are, and even how expensive they become. More capacity could mean faster tools, better products, and lower costs. But it could also deepen the gap between a handful of tech giants and everyone else. As for Intersect, being absorbed into Google means its projects and people will now focus heavily on one customer, powering Google's vision of AI-first computing. For Google, it's about building the backbone of the next era. And for the tech world, this deal is another sign that the race to dominate AI won't just be won in code repositories or research papers. It will be won in concrete, copper, and power lines, in the quiet, humming buildings where the future is being computed. Comment what you think about this. If you like the video, then don't forget to subscribe. It really motivates us to create helpful videos.